They're done.
Well, where's your friend Krista?
She's supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't talked to her. Check. They want to pay that physical aid. They're upset about that. She's. Okay, are we ready? Okay, any motion for the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Pass. Okay, minutes of July 13th, 2021 board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Questions? Okay, number 3, levy rates for July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021 for taxes payable July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, acknowledge and file a resignation from Judicial Nominating Committee.
Russ Sporer has been a member of this judicial nominating committee for quite a while, but he's left town. So this is his resignation. We may be looking for someone to fill that spot. It's rarely used. It's when you're going to nominate a judge, but when it's needed, it's needed. So motion to acknowledge and file Russ Sporer's letter of resignation.
I'll second it. I'd also like to just add what a loss it is losing someone like Russ out of the community. He's always been very active in a lot of different civic and social organizations. And I think about any time we've needed someone from anything like this to Veterans Affairs or anything like that, he's always wanted to step up and help. And I know his wife's worked with Heartland Humane, some other nonprofits. So it's always bad losing someone like Russ out of the community.
And he was an asset to the community also. I mean, he was,
Oh, yeah.
he was a very personal guy. Okay. Personnel request for a new hire, assistant building maintenance manager.
This is just to fill a vacancy that we have.
Okay,
Move to approve.
Second.
all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Carries. Memorandum, understanding a reimbursement agreement between Wapello County and CEDA.
I thought the sheriff was going to have somebody here. Just in a nutshell, what it is this is an agreement through CEDA. And what it's going to do is allow us some funding for areas. Let's say we have a particular area where we suspect there is drug trafficking, and we don't have the time now to station officers there. This will allow us at different times during the year through this grant to be able to pay overtime to officers to patrol those problem areas where we can't afford to do it now. And it's also in relation with the city. It's not just Wapello County. The city, police, and the sheriff's department will both be cooperating in this patrolling of high crime areas, I guess is the easiest way to say it. So I'd make a motion that we approve the memorandum of understanding.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Letter of support for Rural Resilience Recovery Office.
No, missed one.
Oh, approve employee forms. Okay, I'm sorry. Approve an employee performance appraisal for Wapello County.
In our personnel rules, it suggests that after 120 days, we do a performance appraisal of our employees, the new employees, and then that we do that annually, either on their anniversary date, or we can coincide it with the budget date. That's up to the department heads. We have not had a standard job performance evaluation form. Lisa had one, and I sent that to the attorney. It was quite lengthy. He suggested a shorter one. I've sent this one, shorter one, 2 pages out to the department heads, elected officials. I've not received any comments back yet. They do want us, the attorneys want us to be consistent, that if one department uses one, they would like the other departments to use the same one. In different lawsuits, appraisals have come up and job performance. So if we're consistent, so this isn't something that we can't change. If we find out that it's not working in 6 months, we can change it. I got a base copy and I rewrote parts of it. And this is for your review. Like I said, I received no comments from anybody. Do you have any comments, Lisa, on it?
The only thing I found was a typo error. But I figured
No way.
it's
No way.
fun, but I've only glanced at it, so.
I would make a motion that we approve this so we have a standard evaluation form to use.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now we'll do a letter of support for Rural Resistance Recovery Office and authorized chair to sign.
Well, I thought Krista would be here to kind of go through this. These American recovery dollars that are out there, even though we, Wapello County and the city of Ottumwa, probably have staff that can apply for the money and file the reports and things like that. Well, there she is.
I got a little lost. I put the wrong place. I apologize.
I was just starting to explain what this letter of support is, and I didn't get very far, just that the city of Ottumwa and Wapello County probably have the staff to handle this where the small towns don't. And even the city of Ottumwa and Wapello County can use assistance from a full-time paid person. So do you want to tell us who you are and
Yeah, sure. So my name is Krista Heather, and I work with our local workforce development board. And I had the opportunity to go visit Washington, D.C. And in that, we found out about all these different opportunities for the American Recovery Plan funds. And so our board over the past year, we've been going through a realignment process. And we're made up of industry, labor, and education. And so there's a specific population we're made up of, but all about getting our workforce ready to go, our rural communities thriving. And sorry, I was running up and down the stairs trying to figure out where we were. And so with that being said, what we know is that rural areas were a lot of times funded by our population, right? Which are not as populated as our metropolitan areas, so, or cities. And so we're maxed at capacity. We need human capital, we need the capacity to apply for grant funding and opportunities, yet we don't have the people to apply. So kind of had this thought or idea that we have $1.4 billion at the governor's discretion to spend, and said, hey, what if we came together as a community to align and see how we can make these funds work? They can be used for broadband, they can be used for transportation, they can be used for essential needs. So we've said, hey, there's 6 specific things that are long-term goals that our board is focusing on, and this short-term funding can be used to accelerate our focus on our long-term efforts. And what we'll do is we'll work on making sure that's sustainable. So for example, there's funding out there from lots of different federal agencies for broadband, right? So Ottumwa is doing awesome working with Legacy Foundation on an opportunity. I know that the Wapello County Supervisors have said, hey, we'll work on what's not within a city limit to help people, to make sure they're connected. That may still not be enough funding. There's millions of dollars. So we're saying, how do we align the funds, make sure that we're maximizing those to really serve every individual in our community? And we're saying, hey, Governor, so we're writing a proposal to say our workforce board would love to really support our rural communities, right? So what we would do is we would focus on our 14 counties, but everything that we would do would be available. We'll have a website, templates up, so that folks can utilize those. So for example, we held a meeting with several city clerks, and Some of them didn't even know that the funds were available to them in the small towns because counties and large cities got funding directly to them from the federal government. Our smaller towns at 50,000 or less had to request it from the state, right? And our state had to request it on our behalf. And so anyway, so we met with them and let them know where to go, how to apply, and let them know, hey, go ahead and apply for funds, even if you don't know what to do with them, which is county supervisors or cities, not totally sure because our guidance hasn't been real specific. And so we're saying, go ahead and apply for those funds and then we'll advocate, we'll find things and we'll help support you in figuring out what you can do for them. So our goal is to say, let's align with our schools, with our workforce, with our community supports, and we'll act as an intermediary to support you. So that's probably way longer than I needed to go, Jerry, but that's what I got. I don't know if there's anything else that would be helpful.
Anyone have any questions about, this is a letter of support. It's not that we're going to be paying for funding or anything like that. This is a letter of support so that the governor will apply funds for this area. It's one of those things that it can't hurt. It can only help if we get it. It's going to provide expertise to some areas that where they don't have the expertise right now. Any questions? I make a motion to approve the letter of support.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to delay the next one, number 9. We received a comment from the Teamsters Union that there's a section maybe they don't think we need in there. It's duplicating. So rather than approve something and then change it, I'd just rather wait till next week and then we can approve something without having to change it.
Move the table.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Table. Okay, number 10, copy maintenance contract. Who is that for?
I think this is for Dawn, wasn't it? Treasurer.
Treasurer's office.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Okay, other business, we got the recorder's fourth quarter 2021 report on fees collected.
Move to accept and file.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries. Okay, recorder's year-end 2021 report for fees collected and dispersed.
Motion to acknowledge and file.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Investment report, June 2021.
Move to accept and file.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Semi-annual report, January, June 2021.
Motion to acknowledge and file.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, do we have any other business?
So, got an email yesterday from a gentleman from CMTEL, kind of to piggyback a little bit of what you were talking about as far as broadband and the legacy group doing the RFIs and things like that. It kind of led us in to, with CMTEL, we've met with them a couple different times about possibilities for Wapello County. And they're here today to kind of more in an open forum, kind of go over maybe some of the plans and possible support from the county on what we could do to work together to cover a good majority of Wapello County, hopefully in the next 4 to 5 years.
Can I hand out a,
Give it to the bailiff.
one extra one, if anybody wants to follow along? So as Supervisor Morgan had mentioned, we had an ongoing dialogue to talk about broadband in the county. And as most people are aware, there is a state broadband program now in place. The application window is open. So we've been working through making our plans for an application at Citizens Mutual. We've applied twice through the state and have been successful in the previous 2 rounds in applications. So this is our 3rd time applying. This first page, basically, just since the new map came out, I wanted to give an overview of maybe the state of broadband. So I put together some statistics I found rather interesting. I've shared this map before, but the map on the top shows the areas that are eligible for funding from the state in the different tiers within the county. What I did is I took the statistics for every county just to see how do the 6 counties that surround where Citizens Mutual serves, stack up within the state. So Wapello County, interestingly enough, there's 290 square miles that are available for funding, and from 1 to 99 in the state, 1 being the least amount of area that's available, so they're the best served, to 99 is the least served. Wapello County comes in at 68. So probably not surprising to you guys, you're right in the threshold of that bottom third in terms of coverage. So there's work to be done in Wapello County. From a household perspective, there's 1,829 households that are eligible for funding, and that's 84th out of 99. So again, this just shows a picture of there's a big need in Wapello County. So we've been working on our broadband plan. If we go to the next page, and we had a board meeting Monday night with Citizens Mutual, and our boards approved us submitting an application. And what we requested was to submit what we call a core application. That core application does not need any support. So we're going to submit in the core area regardless of what, and both Davis and County, we're applying in areas, whether we get support from the counties or not. We're going to go ahead and submit the application. Now, if you guys do feel compelled to support the application, we get more points, as we've shared before, and I'll talk a little bit about that briefly, but we are asking for support. So this core area, you can see the red area is what we're committed to building from those previous funding programs that we have. So the blue and the light green are the areas we're going to start filling in around. That's the core area. Our estimate for building that area is about $2.7 million. Based upon the state data, the grant percentage would be 47.7%. So the maximum OCIO grant is $1.3 million. But if we request less than the 1.3 million, we get more points. Up to, we max out points as we get down to 80% of a request. So if we ask the state to fund 80%, they would basically fund 1.042 million. What we would request from the county is then 260,000 to make up that difference. And then Citizens Mutual, of course, would be investing 1.43 million. So out of that, we would pass about 361 homes. So a fairly respectable build. As you can see on that previous page, there was 1,829 homes that the state indicates has a lacking level of broadband. So this would improve service to 361 of them. So about 20% of those would, so it makes a pretty good dent in making some progress. But also we recognize, going on to the next page, that if we keep going west to the county line, we start then filling in under, what we call everything in the southern part of the county, south of Highway 34 and the river. So we've got an area our board is interested in putting an application in, but in this one, because the funding level from the state is only about 37%, it just doesn't have a return on investment. If the county wanted to help make up that difference up to 50%, then we would be open to including that in our application. If you guys don't want to invest at that level, we certainly understand. We're not going to include this in our application. So the core piece we're going to do regardless. This one is contingent on y'all's participation. So looking at the economics of this, it's about almost a $2 million build. The state piece, because theirs is 37%, is about almost a $600,000 grant. Again, the 80%. So the county funded piece would be $510,000, and then the Citizens Mutual would be about $987,000. So That would bring up the amount of support that citizens would get to 50% between the state and what you guys would contribute. And that one has 192 homes in it. So again, now that's about 10% of the unserved areas. So, a reasonable progress towards the end goal of getting everybody served. So then on this last one, I just wanted to make a snapshot. These are the same numbers of everything together. So you can see everything south of the river and Highway 34 would be served in this. And the total project's about 4.7 million. The state funded piece would be 1.5 million. Wapello County is about 770,000 and Citizens Mutual is $2.4 million. The round numbers. So the application is window ends next Wednesday. So what we're asking today then is if the county is interested in supporting the project financially. If so, there's the two pieces, what we call the core application. And I shifted the numbers slightly to just round them, frankly. But what we're asking is a $275,000 support for the core project. Again, that'll increase our points, have more likelihood of the state sending their dollars into the county. And then if we were inclined to finish out the area towards the western border, it'd be $500,000 support on that one. So it's basically the request. Any questions?
And that is next, not Wednesday, tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow.
Yes, sir. So you could make the decision next Tuesday if you wanted to think, or just depending on the formal process for making a request like this. But yes, sir, it's next Wednesday, the 28th is the deadline.
And all you need is a financial commitment for the two areas.
That's all we need, yes, sir.
Do you feel those two areas, because I'd actually brought the other map here that other people can look at. So, there seemed like maybe there was more dollars kind of up in the eastern part of the county. Is there a reason you would go that way? Is it mainly just set up and kind of tackling it from this area and then kind of going in that direction? Is that kind of the thought process maybe, or?
Yeah, and since the steering committee in Ottumwa has not made a decision yet, it's, understand they've got a process to work through. So certainly no judgment there. For us, it was about efficiency of expanding in a contiguous manner for us. So once we start leaping across the river and going across the Ottumwa, today our technicians are dispatched out of Bloomfield. Mm-hmm. At some point, if there's enough business up here, we certainly would have some technicians up in this area, but Ottumwa is really the anchor for that. So until we see where that piece goes in terms of Citizens Mutual being a factor within the city limits, we're just looking at keeping it contiguous from an efficiency perspective for our technicians.
Okay.
Well, today, of course, we can't do anything official since it wasn't on the agenda. But I think, I'm not going to speak for the board, but for me personally, I support that, and I would request that it be on the agenda for next Tuesday to give you official approval. And if the rest of the board thinks the same, it'll be on next Tuesday.
Well, I think we see this, as we've said before, I think we see this as something that needs done. The money's available. The rank of what we're at, it can only help us economically and recruiting business, what have you. So I think, as we'd said before, we'd really like to see 80% of the county done in the next 4 to 5 years. And I know there's other, grant funding with that you can also apply for at a later date. And then hopefully the feds get their stuff together and, there's more money on that side of things as well. But I'm also in support of moving forward with this.
Thank you. Yeah, and as you said, there's, the state, the governor would like 3 years of the state having broadband funds, but also on the federal side with the pandemic, everybody understands the importance. there's likely going to be money in the infrastructure bill. So this is just the first step for Citizens Mutual. And as the city and steering committee makes their decision, we'll figure out where the next logical one is as we go through this. So
Yeah.
appreciate your time.
And I'd just like to piggyback, I thank you for the media as we went through this, and I'd said on the RFI interviews for the steering committee with it. And what intrigued us with the council or with the county was the fact of your guys's commitment to the rural areas. You've worked through Davis County, this kind of in your wheelhouse with things. Some of the other proposals we looked at more of a fixed base asset for the county, and that really to us didn't do a whole lot to improve the situation of people in the rural areas like fiber would. So that's what really kind of the history that CMTEL has in the rural areas, working with fiber already and coming up out of Davis County is really kind of a logical partnership, I think we all feel.
And I don't know if people caught on to it or not, but you're already up to Copperhead Road you're working on in Wapello County.
So we actually, our crew just started boring cable and interducting yesterday. So yes, we're working right along Copperhead Road and already in the.
And I know people can't really see this real well, but the red area is areas now that you guys are in currently in Wapello County or working toward right now. And there's actually a small part swatch over here on the eastern part that came in from Farmers Mutual out of Batavia. So welcome to look after this or whatever on that. But these kind of different funding levels of this. So kind of gives an idea. And the new map's not as generous, I think we all agree, as the last map maybe either. So.
And I think the state understands that there's room to improve in how they're doing it. It just takes time.
Sure.
So in future years, we hope that there's even more support at the state level, but we'll see where all that ends.
Now, do you need any special document for next week or just a motion from us to say we support this?
The state in the application does not require you to sign any forms or an affidavit or anything specific. It's just our financial project plan. When we put it in, we'll disclose that we're getting funding from the county. And by the way, Davis County Supervisors have approved supporting the project and a 20% match for the area we're building in their corners as well. So we'll just include that in the project plan. And really, so it's a good faith understanding between us that we'll do it.
Okay,
Good.
We're good.
thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.